Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the webinar Ingredient Water Treatment in the Food and Beverage Market. So I hope everybody can hear me. And my name is Nergis Yepici. I've started my career with Veolia in Germany 2013, working as process engineer, auditor, and sales manager for international project with global players in the food and beverage market. In order to be closer to our customers in the Middle East, I have moved in 2020, just in time, to our local business unit in Dubai, and now representing our technologies and solutions for various industrial and municipal applications. First, I would like to inform you that your microphones are on mute, as you might noticed, and in the event you would have some questions during this presentation, please put these into the question section as illustrated, and I will be happy to answer them afterwards. We will send you, along with the webinar presentations, the brochures of our introduced technologies and solutions. Additionally, there will be a short survey afterwards to understand your interests and priorities for our next webinars. In this webinar, I will cover the three essential pillars of a compliant and sustainable ingredient water treatment plant. Firstly, the different hygienic levels of ingredient water treatment, including the legal directive. Secondly, our commitment to provide sustainable reuse and reclamation solutions with focus on the water scarcity challenges in the Middle East and the KPI liter to liter. And finally, I will introduce Veolia's Global Water Audit tool, which enables our customers to get a full snapshot diagnostic of their plant's water cycle, consumption, and the potential for improvement. The target is to have a 30 to 45 minutes presentation today, and the rest of the time we will be dedicated to questions and answers. Before I start with the technical part, I would like to give you a brief introduction about Veolia. At Veolia, we design and implement solutions for water, waste, and energy management, participating in the sustainable development of industries and cities. These three complementary activities allow Veolia to help develop access to resources and as well preserving and renewing available resources. Veolia Water Technologies within the Veolia Group provides a complete range of services required to design, build, maintain and upgrade water and wastewater treatment facilities and systems for industry clients and public authorities. With more than 70 years of international experience in water treatment, Veolia combines its expertise, innovation to offer you technological excellence in more than 57 countries in the world. With focus on the food and beverage market, we have a record of over 3,000 references, over 500 references for ingredient water treatment, and over 100 for snacks. Veolia consists of an international network of local business units supported by international competence centers, experts, and R&D centers. This unique combination of international capabilities and local setups enables Veolia to better understand your needs and offer you the state-of-the-art water treatment solutions. In the Middle East, our business units are located in Turkey, Lebanon, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. However, our activities, projects and services are covering as well Oman, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, Jordan, Bahrain, Yemen, and Pakistan. When we look at the different sectors of the food and beverage market, such as alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, dairy, food, the typical needs of these sectors are a strong ingredient water solution, water saving, reuse, reclamation, and alliance with the sustainability targets, the strong wastewater solutions, aerobic, anaerobic, and of course, expert knowledge and local service support. The good news is, at Veolia, we can meet exactly those needs. In this webinar, the focus is on ingredient and reclamation. However, in the next webinars, we will present with our experts our solution for wastewater applications in the food and beverage market. And now let's start with the technical part. So, on the food and beverage market, the ingredient water can be used for rinsing, cleaning, processing, manufacturing, during production of food and beverages, or as an ingredient water, for example, mixing the processed water with syrup and producing beverage. So before entering the production, the water has to be purified in the ingredient water treatment plant. And exactly the selected type of ingredient water treatment plant divides the food and beverage market into categories. There are two main questions. First, is water food? Yes, for traditional and hygienic water treatment plants, water is considered as food, and the water treatment plant has to meet the requirements of local drinking water guidelines, customer requirements, and the drinking water directive by law. The second question is actually the one making the difference. Is the water treatment plant a food machinery? For the selectors, customers of a traditional water treatment plant, it is definitely a no, as it is not mandatory by law. But for global players and the emerging local companies operating as franchises who want to prevent any kind of image loss caused by insufficient product quality, the ingredient water treatment plant is a food machinery and they want to have the highest ingredient water quality. It is the decision of the big brands and their request that the process water treatment plant is designed like a food machinery by meeting the guidelines of the European Hygienic Engineering and Design Group and also their own specific quality and engineering guidelines. Let's begin with the mandatory requirements on drinking water treatment. All ingredient water treatment plants in the food and beverage market have to be in compliance with the Drinking Water Directive, as ingredient water is intended by definition for human consumption. The Drinking Water Directive has very strict requirements for the quality of the treated water and for the selected process steps and equipment. A difficult to fulfill requirement of the Drinking Water Directive is that the materials, equipment, chemicals must be in compliance with the directive or certified by NSF or FDA. On the other side, this means industrial equipment are not applicable for process water treatment, as they are not in compliance with the Drinking Water Directive and not fully fulfilling the main basic requirements such as no stagnant piping, no consideration of complete aeration, drainage, no self-emptying, complete disinfection, just to give you some examples. So already the market access to be a traditional water treatment supplier has a high barrier made of legal specifications. But at the moment, there is a widespread misunderstanding in the market. Suppliers who do not understand the requirements of the food and beverage market properly are offering industrial standards instead of the required drinking water treatment. By delivering an industrial solution which has a more favorable price instead of a drinking water or hygienic, a risk is generated for the customer and supplier. We at Veolia, we are informing our client about these differences and we're committed to provide our customers the right water treatment technology according to the legal specifications and their production. Let's continue now with the hygienic part. For the customers of a hygienic water treatment plant, water is considered as food and the water treatment plant is equal to a food machinery. This directive ensures that the machinery used for food is designed and constructed in a hygienic way. So what does it mean? Normally, the food machinery directive is only applicable on the food production side. But as these customers treat water like food, they want also that the ingredient water treatment plant is in compliance with the food machinery directive. Based on the food machinery directives, European Hygienic Engineering and Design guidelines have been derived with focus on liquid food such as ketchup, yogurt, and milk. Hygienic water treatment plant, which is an ingredient water treatment plant in compliance with the hygienic guidelines, is a requirement of the global players and their franchisors. But what does it actually mean to be conformed with these hygienic guidelines? These guidelines are based on food production, so the expectation on design, materials, equipment, procedures is made on liquid food. Consequently, to transfer these guidelines on the water treatment is a quite big challenge. Let me explain you this challenge by the example of the cleaning procedure. On the right side, you can see a ketchup tank and a water tank. How would you clean the ketchup tank? You would rinse it several times with cold or hot water using different cleaning chemicals with different reaction times, so that you have a complete clean ketchup tank at the end of the procedure. For the water tank, which doesn't seem difficult to clean as a ketchup tanks, a few rinsings would be actually sufficient. But as the water treatment plant is treated like a food machinery, the complex cleaning procedure of the ketchup tank, which I've described before, has to be applied completely on cleaning the water tank. Imagine to apply this equalization of a ketchup and water for the whole water treatment plant and how challenging the execution and realization of these guidelines can be. Additionally, you have also to meet the requirements of the Drinking Water Directive. From the 47 hygienic guidelines, 13 are selected for the ingredient water treatment plant and preferred by the global players. These guidelines are divided into the following fields of application. General principles, including the selection of material and surface roughness, for example, for the welding quality as shown on the right side, the factory design considering safe storage and realization of hygienic principles, selection of close equipment, which means in particular the selection of hygienic equipment as summarized on the right side, valves, flanges, gasket, and pumps with hygienic certification. The cleaning procedures and validations, as I explained before, for the ketchup tank. To sum up, there are 3 hygienic levels for ingredient water treatment plants in the food and beverage market. Clean, partly hygienic, hygienic like a food machinery. A clean water treatment plant is, per our definition, only in compliance with the mandatory Drinking Water Directive. A partly hygienic water treatment plant is in compliance with the selected hygienic guidelines. On the top of the pyramid, we have the hygienic ingredient water treatment plant, where the water treatment plant is designed as far as possible like a food machinery. A great expertise and commitment are the precondition to serve as a water treatment supplier in all of these 3 levels. And Veolia's experience in this market has led to the development of 3 product ranges, High BEV, Poor BEV, and NURION, to meet exactly these different hygienic needs of our clients. And for drinking water directive solutions, we have a product range of Solis, which can cover the complete water treatment technology. We are successful in the food and beverage market because we know that the design of an ingredient water treatment plant consists of several integrated process steps from design to execution. In order to be a hygienic or ingredient water treatment supplier, you need a qualified engineering team who can design and construct according to the hygienic principles, qualified sub-suppliers who can provide hygienic certified equipment and materials, standardized series of hygienic core components based on the hygienic guidelines, such as ultrafiltration, RO, tanks, pumps, as you can see on the right side. And very important, the execution of installation and commissioning has to be as well according to these guidelines. And finally, real-time remote monitoring with our digital service Aquavista, which enables remote working, avoiding emergency call-out, and reducing risk of downtime by early warning and predictive algorithms. I think I have been lost. No, I'm back. Okay, I think there was a disconnection for a second, but I hope you can hear me again. Otherwise, my colleague will let me know. 1 second, please. So to sum up here, only with interaction of these factors together, a hygienic ingredient water treatment plant can be supplied. Here you can see a typical process flow diagram of ingredient water treatment, which is designed according to the mandatory Drinking Water Directive. And actually, our clients are deciding about the terminal points for the levels of hygiene. It is adjustable between pre-treatment, main treatment, and advanced treatment. For example, the water treatment plant can be designed according to the Drinking Water Directive for the pre-treatment, covering ultrafiltration and intermediate storage tank, and downstream semi-hygienic with our Poor BEV product range. Or we can put the hygienic terminal point downstream of the reverse osmosis unit as shown in this slide. This means the pre-treatment And main treatment can be designed with our solids products such as ActiveFlow, Multiflow, Uplex, FiltraFlow in drinking water standards. And for the hygienic part, we can go with NURION. NURION is our skid-mounted reverse osmosis system designed by Solids. It's a plug-and-play unit for the production of compliant ingredient water, and it is in compliance with worldwide certifications and regulations, as you can see on the screen. On level 3, of course, we can have also a full hygienic water treatment plan according to the Food Machinery Directives and Hygienic Guidelines. Clients requiring this high-end version are global players, or as I said, the local emerging franchisers. In addition to the hygienic guidelines and food machinery, these global players, they have their own customer-specific engineering guidelines. And we also consider this in our design. So Veolia meets with his product range HiBEF exactly these requirements. The key message for the hygienic levels of ingredient water treatment plant is that Veolia is competent to serve you in any of these levels because we have the expertise and we can differentiate. And very important is to mention, water plays a key role in delivering on brand's value. The quality of the water and the food and beverage product has a direct impact on the product taste, safety, and longevity. Furthermore, the choice of the water treatment equipment can also impact the productivity. The selection of a high-end hygienic water treatment plant will have a higher capex in comparison to a traditional semi-hygienic water treatment plant. However, it will reduce the OPEX due to decreased chemical and energy consumption. Additionally, it will ensure maximum plant uptime due to long intervals between cleaning and maintenance cycle. Okay, so let's continue now with the process water reuse and reclamation, and let's focus on the KPI. So, our mission at Veolia is to support your objective to improve and optimize the water consumption, especially in the Middle East where water is rare. For this mission, we pay attention to protect your license to operate, we provide technologies with water use efficiency, and we help you to share the knowledge across your branches. So when we look now on the ingredient water treatment plant, the core components, as I introduced in the first part, such as ultrafiltration, activated carbon, RO, are producing lightly polluted wastewater streams during rinsing, backwash, and operation. Combined with the requirements of no stagnant water and permanent rinsing, the food and beverage market is facing a huge amount of wastewater on a daily basis. At least 70% of these wastewater streams can be purified by the reclamation system and recirculated to the ingredient water treatment plant as a raw or processed or a product water. Our core standard components are designed with this option for reclamation. The process and technology for the reclamation system is as well standardized for the different wastewater qualities. Our reclamation is not limited to greenfield. It can also be applied on existing water treatment plants where we have several references already. This means the core components of the existing water treatment plants on a brownfield project can be modified for collecting of the wastewater streams and extended by the standardized reclamation system. As shown in the graphic on the right side, the reclamation system is designed in the following categories: basic, standard, advanced, extended. This categorization provides customized reclamation solution meeting exactly the customer's interest for the desired amount of wastewater to reclaim. We can focus just on the backwash water, or we can go all in and take the complete wastewater from the water treatment plant and the production filling lines. With these four categories of reclamation system, we will meet exactly the requirements of two customer types. The customer type is on the left side of the slide, located in the Middle East and North Africa, who is facing water scarcity due to the arid climate zone and limited water resources. Also, the fresh water availability on a daily basis for the production facility is restricted by legal directives of the government. Consequently, customer type 1 has an urgent and essential necessity to reclaim as much as possible wastewater and reuse it. For this customer type 1, the categories of advanced and extended reclamation systems are the most suitable solutions, as these systems are recovering the complete wastewater volume of the process water treatment plant. If the interest for reclamation is more driven by the sustainability image and key performance indicator for water saving as shown for customer type 2 on the right side, the reclamation system is not an urgent but more a prestigious and economical option. The customers interested in it is not the complete wastewater reclamation, but rather the reclamation of wastewater volumes from the greatest contributors such as backwash and RO concentrate. For customer type 2, we recommend basic and standard reclamation. So here you can see a typical distribution of the water in a beverage production company. You can see this is a water balance of the complete catchment area. You can see 51% of the water is used for producing the ingredient, 10% domestic, and 16% for production, CIP, and sanitation. And the 10%, it is the wastewater produced in the water treatment plant, in the ingredient water treatment plant, as I mentioned before, from the core components. And if you look now at the distribution here, you can see 60% is coming from the RO concentrate and 23% from the backwash water. So by reclamation of these streams, we can improve the KPI because it's lightly polluted wastewater streams and it's easily to upgrade even an existing water treatment plant for this application. So we developed a reclamation system providing a specific water treatment for each wastewater quality in order to be able to reclaim the backwash water, the hot water from the ACF sanitation, the chemical wastewater from the chemical enhanced backwash of the ultrafiltration, RO first rinse, RO concentrate. And I just would like to briefly just give an example how a backwash water reclamation could look like. So the main process step here is ultrafiltration, and for RO concentrate, it's a reuse RO. Of course, we can't go very high with the recovery because it's already a concentrated stream. So we are limited around 60 to 70% with the recovery, otherwise we would have scaling. And if the local situation is so strict, we can also go for zero liquid discharge. But I would like to emphasize here, zero liquid discharge, it's improving maybe the last 1 to 5% of efficiency. However, it will require higher capex. So it means we have to really properly look what is reasonable, what makes sense, and how. So we are looking really complete in a complete solution. I would like to explain now how a reclamation system can improve your KPI liter to liter. So normally you have on the left side a scenario of a path state. We have a beverage production company, and they have an ingredient water treatment plant, and they have a wastewater treatment plant. In the optimized state, it is extended by a reclamation unit. So they can use part of the wastewater as an intake again after treatment. And here's some values of our references. As you can see here, in general, the system efficiency is improving by 15%. And as a rule, we can say the wastewater is reduced by 30% and the freshwater intake by 15%. So it means also cost saving. An added value, as I introduced in the beginning, is that it's a customized solution. If we have a greenfield project, we can consider it already in the design. If we have an existing water treatment plant, we can upgrade it accordingly. We just have to make the right modification on the discharge piping, find a buffer tank, put a solution. So this is what we can do. And a very, very important point, and I know which is always big concern of the operators, is the seasonal fluctuation. Because in the food and beverage market, you have high season or low season for production. And most of the times, ingredient water treatment plants are designed for high season, which means you have 2 trains producing 100%. But if you go to low season, you just need maybe 50 or 75%. But in order to keep the cleaning and sanitation, you have a lot of backwash, etc., and you're producing even more wastewater during the low season. So when we design a water treatment plant, we keep a focus. We ask you about your average seasons, how is the production, and we make a flexible system for the ingredient water, but as well for the reclamation system, so that you have a stable KPI, that there are no surprises of additional water consumption, or we recommend you on time which you need to preserve or how to optimize or combine systems. Okay, so now we are going to the global water part and audit part. Well, it's funny because nobody can reply to me and I'm feeling having a monologue, but okay, let's continue. Okay, so at Veolia, we have developed a global water audit tool. It is our standardized digital audit methodology, which enables our customers to get a full snapshot diagnostic of their plant's water cycle and all the routes for improvement of their performance, compliance, and cost efficiency. And leveraging on our experience with industrial customers and on our expertise in water treatment, we propose a 360-degree analysis of the site using a standardized methodology adapted from ISO 5001 energy and environmental management norms. With this global audit tool, we are covering the complete catchment area of the factory. I mean, we really look in each different consumer, in each department. It's not limited to production, it's not limited to water treatment, it's the complete catchment area. And today we have more than 70 references globally where we have performed successfully audits, implemented solutions to improvement, and this covers the market food and bev, pharma, and chemicals. So after the holistic assessment of the management, technical, and operational scope, the audited customer gets a full set of standardized reports and dashboards, including the identification of risk and opportunities for improvement, the definition of an action plan which details technological and service solution and KPI to achieve reported improvements, and online access to benchmark between audited sites and similar players of their sectors. So we had also a global audit program with one of the global players where we audited 46 sites. And there you can see the benchmarking and how they improved. So our audit tool screen has been packaged in 3 modules. We have the managerial, technical, and operational assessment, and which we can combine in 3 levels as you wish. So the first basic one is a la carte. It's an audit and operational analysis on a specific scope. So some factories, like based on my experience, some factories, they have full transparency and some not. So it's really a decision of the customer how much audit he wants. And here in this a la carte, we customize in deep analysis and recommendation on a specific scope. It can be just a wastewater treatment plant, it can be the cooling tower, or it can even be a hygienic audit for the existing ingredient water treatment plant. The second package is Gold, which is including technical and operational assessment, which means you will get a global picture of the current water cycle, water mapping, water balance, facts and figures, and diagnostic of issues. And at the end, after we take the technical assessment, we have the operational assessment where we give also concrete identification of solutions to improve the performance and the action plan. And last, the complete audit package Platinum, it's also including the management assessment. So here we make interviews and we check the actions of the management on the factory's daily life. How was the governance, the water leader, follow-up procedures, provide resources. Because without the commitment of the top management in a factory, you cannot achieve your KPIs. You know, there is a system, and if you have to really sensibilize each operator on each level, they have to get it has to be communicated. And in some factories where they follow the global sustainability agenda, I was mesmerized how aware everybody was about each drop. And in some other countries, I was surprised that they didn't care at all. So it's really also important that there is commitment from the management to achieve these targets. So I would say the best part for an auditor is the first day at the audit when you go on site and you ask the client, could you please send me your data before? Because it's like opening Pandora's box. First of all, they don't know what's going inside. Mostly we know what's the intake and out. because that's where you pay. But what is happening in between is a mystery. And funny is that the biggest consumers is unknown, and this can sometimes be even the production of the CIP, it's not recorded. And what we have observed a lot is also, since operators in these factories are working for 10, 15, or 20 years, they have this operation blindness. They can't capture all the potential for improvement, or underestimate risk or non-compliance. And unfortunately, there is a lot of potential for improvement even without any investment, which they cannot see anymore. So this is before the audit. And our goal, if we go as an auditor on site, is we really want to see where you are now, what's your current state, and how we can improve you or help you to improve yourself. Like how we can get you to a better future state with a better KPI, with a better sustainability agenda. So in order to able to make such an assessment, we really need to make a picture of your current state. How big is the demand for improvement? Or sometimes there are also factors which are already excellent. So I would say everybody who listens will understand where to put themselves. And our goal is here, when we go and look for improvements, first of all, we look how we can reduce the water consumption without doing anything. And then the second is how we can reuse with existing equipment and water sources. But after we assess this, the next step is, okay, how we can reclaim with a new technology or with reusing an existing technology. And of course, we want to map every risk for quality or safety. And what is important is also, if we have this track of, if we have the list of improvements, we can also share it. And the main output of the audit is you get a breakdown of your water consumption, which means you can see where are the biggest consumers, you can find the gap, and also we give you the state of your current KPI. And with the current KPI, you can also get a feeling for the partial KPI. Because normally when you track your water consumption, you have the big KPI, the current. So you never know if there is a deviation, who is the troublemaker. But when you make a water mapping, you can have also the partial KPI for each department or technology, and then you know immediately when you break down the KPIs where to look at and where to optimize. So we have audited, as I said, we have been very present in different sectors and markets. And we have audited dairy factories, chocolate factories, beverage factories. So, and sometimes it's very complex, it's a big factory, but we have the expertise with our auditors to manage this complexity. So we start top down. First, we look at the factory total balance, the main consumers and the sub-consumers. It can look like this on the first level. We get the water record of the total annual water balance. So this is just the exemplary values of a beverage production. So we have like 500,000 cubes per year as intake. 200 is going just for ingredients. 70,000 is lost as in the steam for cooling tower and boilers. And 250 is going for wastewater. In the next detailed level, we can indicate how much is exactly going to production, to the utilities, domestic, what's the gap, how much is going as a finished product. And the level 3, we generate a complete water treatment process flow diagram of the water map. And here it's important, we also indicate where are the flow meters, we make recommendations for the flow meters. You will get an Excel sheet with the location and the names of the flow meters. So even after the audit, your team will be able to track this. And in most of the places where we have performed the audit, in most of the production areas, the water map generated by Veolia is hanging and the operators can follow it. So this is also the breakdown of the consumption. So you can see here how much is going for each production line, or for the CIP production, or for the warmers, utilities, cooling towers, but also for the different water treatment plants or in the domestic usage. So at the, okay, and there can be also the risk that there is a gap. So at the end of the audit, you get a cake, or as my French colleagues say, a camembert, and you will see the distribution. So normally GAP means it's the unknown consumers, which means there is a lack of flow meters and you couldn't track. So this can be 0 if there's a good transparency and management as a factory, but sometimes we had cases it can go to 40%, where they really don't know what is the where is it missing. So after the audit, we give recommendations for the positions of the flow meters. We give them the tool how they can reduce this gap to get the full transparency. And what is very important here is also to highlight that when we do this audit, of course, we make the water mapping, but as part of the operational assessment. So you can see here, we have the intake water and the current state from the municipality. We know how much is going to the finished product, how much we discharge. But when you have this 360 view on the factory, you can see a lot of potential, especially as an auditor from outside. So in this special case, we recommended reclamation of the RO concentrate, which you can see here. This will save you per year 20,000 cubics of water. This will save you 20,000 cubics of water. Or, as you can see here, this factory has its own wastewater treatment plant, and the effluent is normally discharged to the external wastewater treatment plant. But what we can do, the treated effluent here, we can put in a second effluent reclamation, and this water can be used for non-production purposes. And in this case, it can be used for the cooling tower, because cooling towers have a huge water demand. And with these improvements, which we suggested after the audit, the system efficiency can be increased to 60%, and there is also cost saving around 45,000 euro. So to sum up today's key messages is Veolia is your competent ingredient water treatment supplier in any hygienic level. We have the expertise, we have the technologies, and we are present in the Middle East and globally. Our mission is to support your sustainability agenda and water scarcity challenges with our efficient technologies and solutions. And your KPI is our KPI. We take it very serious and personal that we support you properly, that we improve together as a KPI. And very important is we look out of the box. We are not limited to one solution or technology. No, we really look out of the box. And also with our audit tool, we give you a full snapshot of all your potential for improvements, covering all technologies. And most of you know Veolia already and the food and beverage markets because we have met several successful references, our customers' challenges for ingredients, sustainability, and wastewater solutions. So I thank you all for your attention. And now I will be very happy to answer your questions. But I can't see any questions, so I assume everything was very clear. Okay, I think there are no questions. So after this webinar, we will send you the presentations, we will send you the brochures, and we will also send you the survey. So please take some minutes to answer the survey so we can customize the next webinars at all. Thank you all. Thank you for your time and all the best. Have a beautiful day. Ciao.